Welcome back, John Roots. 2CR land apparently is still, most of us are still out in the field, so I do not expect this to be kind of a heavy crowd today. In fact, I don't expect anybody to show up because most people are out in the field. So this particular service is going to be geared towards the the kind of viewing audience at home. And what we're going to do is, while I'm live, I will keep it open for questions, and then if you have questions, comments, thoughts, ideas after the live portion is finished, as always, do feel free to post them in either on YouTube or on Facebook. Either way, I think I'm recording live right now for both. Um, would prefer the YouTube one though. YouTube is, like I said, a much better platform. So let's keep working on that. Now, there's one other thing that happens when Chaplin has to go to the field, when Chaplin goes to the field, when Chaplin enjoys spending time with with whoever is out in the field, and that is that preparation for the field, preparation, for all the stuff that goes on, and being out in the field itself, do not lend themselves to a fully prepared service. So I'm going to warn you in advance that today's service is pretty half-baked. It's very doughy, very unfinished. So we can either go through the unfinished, kind of doughy, half-baked service, or I thought I got most of the face paint on. Anyway, so we can either go through that, or we can just move into kind of after I do the opening chanting and we finish up with the meditation, we can just move straight into kind of like a comments and answers thing. I'm okay with either one of those being the case. That's not a problem. Yeah. So what we'll do is, as soon as I'm done with the meditation, I will look to see if you have posted any comments talking about which of those two you would prefer, and whatever the case may be, we'll work it from there. And I do apologize if I'm starting to sound like a broken record. Didn't have time to prepare, didn't have time to prepare, didn't have time to prepare. Probably a large part of that is on me. Not having the resources that I need to make time. Part of it is on me for having a lot of passion for a lot of people, and unfortunately not putting enough time or effort into giving you guys the fully fledged service that you guys really deserve. So yeah, most of that is on me. I will go in that one. I just have not been able to prepare as I should for you guys. So let's go ahead and get started, and we'll work through it. And do feel free to, like, whatever you want to comment. If you want to if you want to just call me out, if you want to, say, hey, we deserve better than this, totally okay. 100% acceptable. There's nothing wrong with that, given what I've just said. I own it. I accept it. That's reality. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started then. Buddham saranam gacchami, dhammam saranam gacchami, sangham saranam gacchami, titiyampi buddham saranam gacchami, titiyampi dhammam saranam gacchami, Titiyampi sangham saranam gacchami. Titiyampi buddham saranam gacchami. Titiyampi dhammam saranam gacchami. Titiyampi sangham saranam gacchami. We'll now do, since I don't have to be anywhere and I'm not really in any kind of particular mood, maybe we need to do a little bit more meditation today. We're going to do 15. We're going to do 15. So bear with me. If you guys want to do a little bit more meditation, that's fine too. Don't worry about it. Just feel free. If you're watching this live, obviously you can't pause it, but if you're watching this after the live is finished, then by all means, feel free to throw
whatever meditation you feel comfortable with on. Um, Pause it right now and come back uh, whenever you're done. Okay, so that was 13 minutes, not 15.
Field has me sore. Okay, so I'm going to look at the comments. Both, I can see the comments on YouTube. I can, wow, looks like I did not even go live with Facebook. Whoops. Okay. You see where I am after, or during the field and after the field. So simple, simple recap for Facebook because I was kind of an idiot and forgot to, whoops. Let's see if I can't turn this around. Come on, there we go. Okay. So quick recap for our team on Facebook because I was an idiot and I did not remember to just click the button, right? Wow, my brain is just all kinds of not with it. I can blame the field, I can blame being tired, I can blame whatever I want, but ultimately, my mistake. I'm going to own that. I failed, you guys. And I think that's probably where we need to start. So what I want to do, today's service was going to be half-baked because I did not have time, and I know I sound like a broken record, and I hate saying that. You guys really do deserve better. So, what I think we're going to do is I'm just going to kind of sit down here in the front, read any comments or whatever that you guys have, and maybe while I'm at it, maybe just kind of give it the old. Let's see if there's not a better time. Now, here's the deal with that. First off, with the local units, with 2CR and or VilSec and or GRAP, being constantly in training, constantly learning, constantly going out and practicing their skills and doing this, that, and the other thing. The calendars around here are pretty booked. Let's just call it what it is. We are very busy. Very busy with training, and we get a lot of training time. However, we do not get a lot of time to kind of work on the things that are going on outside of training, to include time for spiritual fitness. So what I'm looking to do, and what the guys at Rose Barracks would like me to do as well, I kind of agree with them on one level, and I kind of disagree with them on one level. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to do a service in person for those who can attend in person on a different day. And I'm also gonna try, I know I keep saying that, I'm gonna try to do this service online, but in order to do that, I would like to request times and days of the week that would be available, because we all know, or maybe you guys don't know, most of the Buddhist world does not revolve around we go to temple on this day of the week formats. Most of the Buddhist world revolves around one of really kind of two basic premises. Either one, you go to the temple when you need explanation, advice, guidance, whatever from the monks. Or I guess in the military context, you would just kind of like show up at the chapel whenever you need advice from your friendly neighborhood chaplain. Um, or two, and some temples do actually do this, where they will pick specific days, not so much of the week, but specific days of the month or of the year. Actually, most temples have kind of like a holiday schedule, but this is some temples take it a little bit, take it a step further, right? So it's either days of the month or days of the year, right? So days of the month can really look a couple of different ways. One would be most of the Theravada world does not do days of the week services. They do full moon, right? This is the Uposatha, right? The full moon, the new moon, and depending on which part of the Theravada world, either the quarter moons or the half moons, right? So are those on the same day of the week every month? Absolutely not. No, they are not. And so if I were to try that with the military, anyway, like give me anybody want to tell me that would even be close to feasible in the way the military operates? Yeah, no, I didn't think so. So reality says we're not going to get that, right? The only way that would happen is if two things happen. One, all of our Buddhist chaplains were assigned to garrison environments, so that we could be at the chapel at any point, ready to to help. Or, well, and the units themselves would have to allow for the individuals to have that time to go to the temple or go to the chapel and have that quick service. And that's not going to happen either, not with the training schedules that we have. So let's talk reality here. What are we talking about, right? So we have to deal with the reality that we have. The army and really the military as a whole is not going to they're not going to accept the fact that that's how we as Buddhists do things, right? So I'm not going to get, like my home temple, right? We meet the 4th, the 8th, the 9th, the 11th, the 15th, the 17th, the 24th, then the 28th. No chance I'm getting those days approved every month as these are the days that we meet and do services. No chance. And I know that. even if I cut down that number from 8 to 4, still not happening. Right? So even if I was to do like, okay, well, the reason why why some temples do it that way, my home temple does it that way, is because these individual days have specific numerical significance, right? So like the 4th, Four Noble Truths, right? These are to help us to remember the teachings, right? So if we do services on these days, it helps us to kind of reinforce those teachings within our minds. Oh, and we're starting to get some comments. I will get to those in just one second. So if I were to do that, I would have to sit there. If this is how it would look if the army were ever to get around to, oh, well, we can do your services on your specific days, and that's okay, right? I would probably have to do the 4th, I would do the 8th, I would do the 12th, and I would probably do some kind of combination of some kind of combination of the above. Maybe let's see, 3 times 8, 24th. Not how the military is set up to operate. We don't operate like that. So that's not going to happen, right? which of course leads us back to, well, why don't we put chaplains in a garrison environment so that when people have need, they can come and we have it happen? Because what's the first thing that they're going to want to say? Oh, well, can't you just go to your unit chaplain? There's some value in that, right? So going through your unit chaplain for basic things, day-to-day kinds of counseling, most chaplains can cover that. Some better than others. But if you're really looking for a Buddhist chaplain, right, and you really want to go and talk to the Buddhist chaplain, how many units are going to say, no, we got this mission, sorry, you're going to have to wait until later? Pretty much all of them, because that's how the military operates. That's what we do, and there's just no two ways about it. There's no way of getting around that. Now, if we put spiritual fitness into the equation and said, look, this is a key piece of what these people do, maybe we might get some units to say, yeah, that's a great idea, go for it, but probably not. So what we need to do on our end is, in order for me to meet my Title 10 legal requirement to conduct a service once a week, is we need to figure out a time and a date that works for that. Now, the time and date for the local community, right, where we have like an actual population who can show up in person, that will be one day or one specific day and time. The online one is still going to continue. I'm not going to leave you guys in the dark. And I realized how incredibly, I've made that promise before and it hasn't worked out so great, right? Because we don't have that kind of concept of like, oh, well, chaplain does services on this day, so maybe he needs some time on that day to actually put together the service. That'd be good. Yeah, we don't do that. It's, oh, well, we've got mission. Shut up and do it. Well, okay, Roger, I guess. So the in-person service is going to be one thing, but the online service is still going to be another thing. And I think given the kind of nature of that, we do need to kind of reevaluate what day and what time so that we can maximize participation, right? Now, that said, I've kind of said my piece. I'm going to go ahead and kind of sit a little bit. We're going to move this particular cushion. And I am going to go ahead and start reading comments and questions. Okay, so I'm going to start on the YouTube side because did I suddenly get very, very better? No? Okay. And I will go ahead and answer the comments from both. So we're going to start with the YouTube comments. Unfortunately, didn't hear what you asked before. So what I had asked at the very beginning, at the very start of the service, was I just got out of the field. You can actually probably still see some of the face paint. I tried to get as much of that off as I could. And what I did, but okay, getting back to the point, right? So because I was out in the field, today's service, I simply did not have time. And I apologize for that. What I did is I said, okay, look, this is going to be super half-baked, so I can either just answer comments and questions and we can have a discussion, or I can give you this half-baked service, tell me which one you want, and I think probably we kind of just move directly into the second option. Okay, so also comments there. Second, I can't imagine the military accommodating full moon services or half moon services. Yeah, no, it's straight up not happening, at least not for the in-person kind of thing. Now, what I might do with that is I might do like I might do our digital services, our online, our streamed services on those particular dates, if that will work. That just requires me to start keeping much better track of that. And that may be a thing, right? If that's what you guys would like, if that's what you guys think would be appropriate for our community, yeah, I'm all about that. We can definitely have that conversation and kind of sit there and see if that's going to make sense for you guys. I'm okay with that. Right. And I think that also answers our comment over here on Facebook. I like full moon, new moon, kind of traditional. Is that something that you guys would appreciate, or that you guys would find useful? If so, I mean, leave it, by all means, leave it in the comments. I will be checking the comments very regularly. So if you guys have ideas for that, if you guys have a time and a day that maybe works better for you, but isn't already listed, hey, go for it, right? List away, right? Tell me what you guys want, and I will, within the scope of my normal, ordinary human capabilities, I will endeavor as best I possibly can to make that happen. I think that's about the closest I can get to like an actual promise. So, okay, more comments on the YouTube side. So we're going to continue reading those ones quick. Online is important for the overseas soldiers and far away because of how rare Buddhist chaplains are too. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to give up on you guys, and I'm not going to give up on streaming because I know that that's the case, and I know that a lot of the personnel who end up watching, they're not doing so at convenient locations, at convenient, at the time that we conduct the service, because it's simply not within their mission set. They don't have the capability to do so. So, and I'm okay with that, right? That's why I'm always asking if you guys have comments or questions, or if you guys have a theme that you guys want me to talk about. I'm 100% on board with all of that. And I know that that's important, and I know that that's important to those who are watching, because simply put, even offline, right? I will get messages saying, "Hey, this was, I appreciate the service today," or, "Oh, let's think about this," or whatever the case may be. So this is having an impact, and it's important, and it's, to me personally, as an individual, it's very critical to include all of those who are not geographically present here where I'm conducting services, that I continue to do so, that I continue to give every effort that I can this online digital streaming service available to you guys, right? That's what I'm doing, that because you guys matter. Okay, and we kind of have a couple of comments. One on, I'm going to go back, and I'm going to switch back and forth. So Facebook, Lay says, yeah, in whatever format is necessary, it is next to impossible to accommodate people all over the world in one fell swoop. Facts. Like, I'm not even going to try to argue that one. It's correct. But I will still do what I can to make sure that everybody has the capacity, or that everybody has the option available to them, because there is legitimate value to being a part of the community and asking these questions in person, talking in person, right? Having those conversations. It's important because it kind of keeps us. It helps us to understand that we are part of something, right? That we are part of a community, that we have an important piece in the puzzle, in the overall puzzle of how this whole experience works and how we can develop. Community is huge for being able to kind of help us grow, because if we have enough voices who
have seen things from different angles, have looked at things from, have different life experiences. They can bring that in, and maybe they have something that I don't, right? And so we can use that as a springboard to say, yeah, this is important. We are helping people to grow and to develop, and that's why I keep I keep talking about community. It's important to have that, right? Having that sangha, the online sangha, the Dharma Boots sangha, is it's actually a really big deal, because if we have that, we together can work things out in ways that I, as an individual, maybe I have a lot of answers, maybe I have, some good ones, but I don't have all the answers. This ordinary human in front of you does not have all the answers. I'm not going to claim to. I'm not going to pretend like I know everything. I don't. I get things wrong a lot too. I will offer, I offer what wisdom I have, what experience I have, but ultimately it's not. That's not what. I'm not setting out to be perfect. I'm setting out. This is going to sound dumb. I'm not setting out to be perfect. I'm setting out to seek perfection, if that makes sense, right? I'm not in any way, shape, or form there. Would not claim to be, do not claim to be, but I'm at least on the path. And maybe me being on the path can help show you guys something that otherwise you wouldn't see. Okay, let's pop back over here. Would full moon, half moons freak out Krishna? Probably. Almost certainly. Weekly works for you. This is Jeff. My work schedule is erratic enough that I can't promise when I can make it. Fair, right? And I know that both the Facebook community and the YouTube community, there's people on both that that really kind of struggle to be here when I'm conducting services live. And so that, again, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, there's no point in doing things, right, in uploading videos and not, not having anybody view them. There absolutely is, right? It matters to me that we have that community. It matters to me that we have that chance to kind of work together. But how that community looks probably isn't how communities in the past have looked. It probably isn't how, a lot of religious communities would like it to look. And that's okay, right? So if I did end up going to kind of like a more traditional half moon, full moon, quarter moon, or half moon, full moon, new moon, half moons, probably that's what I would do, probably, right? Because those are easier to track. I'm sorry, they just are. If I were to do that, a lot of people within the various communities that I have that I'm serving would look at it and be like, oh, well, that's weird. And a lot of my peers would look at it and be like, oh no, he's trying to bring in this, that, the other thing, right? Sure, fine, whatever. They want to believe that, they want to believe that. That's them, right? We will practice as the Buddha taught us, and we will practice what the Buddha taught us. Not so much because it is, because we want to be dogmatic about it, but because the Buddha he figured a lot of things out that I think a lot of us struggle with, right? He worked through a lot of the things that we struggle with. And he did so in a way which said, okay, well, there's a path. We can follow this path. And as we follow this path, that's a beautiful thing, because we are learning, we are growing, we are perfecting ourselves. We're not saying we're perfect, but we are slowly but surely perfecting ourselves. Like I talked about a couple of weeks ago, right? My home temple has that beautiful, beautiful metaphor of sculpture. And I know, Jeff, you've heard me talk about that one before. That beautiful metaphor is really pretty awesome in my mind. The metaphor of chiseling away a little bit, right? Of polishing away that Buddha nature, polishing away all of the excess, right? So that we get to see the statue, right? That's what we're doing. And we can do that better if we have a community saying, oh, maybe that piece, like that can go. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I don't know. What do you guys think? And also, well, actually, it looks like we may be having some connection issues. Yeah, and that's 100% on my end. Sweet. Okay. So, as always, I ask if you guys have a theme or a topic, and Jeff, you provided one. Thank you so kindly for that. So what we're going to do next week is I feel a bit of a need for a bigger picture kind of sermon. I've been focused on the details for a long time and losing a bit of motivation, or maybe a sermon that makes you feel energetic. Do you want me to do the bodhisattvas, or do you want me to, like, I can do that one. I could maybe go back in and revisit some of the Eightfold Noble Paths, specifically right effort, Buddha's life. Okay. So, next week, we're going to do the bodhisattvas. I'm going to bring in as many of them as I possibly can, noting that there are a lot, right? So, maybe actually, you know what? Maybe next week is maybe next week is a really good example, or a really good chance to talk about what a bodhisattva is, as seen by both the Theravada side of the house and the Mahayana side of the house, and also to kind of go through and talk about some examples of them in more in the Mahayana context, right? So, and that actually kind of leads me back to this the half-baked version that I was going to do today, where we have one of these kind of up here on the altar, and she is right up there. So, yes. So the question is, right, and the answer is basically yes. So they are beings that inspire us to do things better, to do things different, to do what we can. And I will go into that definitely next week. Don't want to get kind of like go too far in the weeds on that one today, because we are already at 54 minutes and counting. Again, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. So yeah, next week. We'll do the bodhisattvas. And again, thanks, Jeff, for the request and the kind of, as it were, the assistance in helping me figure out what I should be talking about, or what you guys would like me to talk about. So that would be, so Jeff, you got all the ideas today, and that's good. That's another sermon entirely, right? I can definitely, a lot of the personalities surrounding the Buddha, we did that not too far back. A lot of the personalities surrounding the Buddha, we did that not too far back, where I talked about a lot of the nuns, and frankly, I just absolutely love talking about our nuns, because in addition to being just incredibly sassy, I know, sassy nuns, who knew, right? They're awesome. They're incredible. Like the example that they set, and the way that they living their lives, and living according to the Buddhist teachings. So inspiring, so good, right? So we can definitely look at that, and maybe that's another topic for another day, is the monks and nuns around the Buddha. So, but next week is definitely the Bodhisattvas. We're definitely going to do the Bodhisattvas next week, and then maybe, I don't know, maybe after that I can dig out a handful of examples of these are the different people surrounding the Buddha. Maybe they speak to you on this level or that level, or because all of them do have those different personalities. You're right. Some are bookworms, and some are very quiet and shy, and some are very calm, and some are very mellow, and some are very boisterous. Well, not boisterous. Boisterous is the wrong word. But some of them are very vibrant, right? You get this sense from them, especially the nuns, that they are incredibly vibrant human beings. Like freedom has made them so awesome. They were already awesome, but freedom just helped like push that along a little bit. And that's something that we can definitely do. I'm thinking maybe we do that. Maybe we'll do that. So let's call that the next 2 weeks. So yeah, let's count that for the next 2 weeks. Next week is going to be the Bodhisattvas, and then the week after that is going to be the Buddhist monks and nuns, and what that means, and what that means to us, and what that might look like for us. So. Oh yeah, you're bringing up some of my favorites. Yeah, we'll definitely bring up Ananda for sure. Chulapantika, we can bring him up. We can bring up probably do a little bit with Patachara. We can do a little bit with. I don't know that the audience. You know what? You guys are grown adults. If I get myself in trouble for talking about Vimala and some of the other nuns who started life. A little bit more physically, I think you guys are adult enough that we can do that. We can have that conversation. This isn't trade-off where I would legit get fried for that. And maybe we can talk about some of the modern ones too, right? I can kind of give you examples of recently, within the last year, 2 years. Some of the recently passed ones, like Thich Nhat Hanh. We can also bring in one who's still living, like Pema Chodron, because she's got some personality. Awesome. It's so incredible. Like every time that I had like the chance to sit there and kind of go through the stuff that she has, like the online classes that she has, it's so interesting watching her do what she does. So, all right. And okay. Thanks, man. Thanks for. So let's. Yeah, we'll do that. So next week is the Bodhisattvas. I'll bring in as many of them as I can, and then the week after that, we're going to go big picture monks and nuns, and kind of look at them, look at their lives, see what kind of things they might bring to us. But I think we'll go ahead and close it out, if that's okay. I think we'll go ahead and just close it out here for now, and I will see you guys next week. Is that reasonable? Okay, give me a thumbs up if that's reasonable. We kind of close out for now, and then we'll come back and we'll reconvene next week. Give it some thought as to when the online service, maybe by next week we'll have a better idea, and then we'll kind of hash it out in the admin portion before we actually get into the service, if that's okay. Sound good? Yep. Okay. We'll see you guys next time.